And
Oh,
greetings
we
from
are
your queen.
live again.
We are live again. And I don't know whether they found their way back here yet, but I'm going to continue to talk about some of my ideas for workshops. Um, I was also thinking about maybe doing a workshop for the runes. Because if you buy your set of runes, then it's not going to take quite as much time, especially if you buy one of my sets of runes that have been properly inscribed. Although I have to tell everybody who's interested in buying my sets of runes that I do not do the blank rune, and none of my sets will have a blank rune in them. I know I did a set where I put the blank rune like pinned outside of it, but I don't think I did that for this set.
Well, oh well. Um, Unfortunately, our internet interruption made everybody stop watching.
Oh dear.
Welcome to those of you that are here. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Emily, if you're still watching, I did see your message. Welcome. Hi. I'm sorry, I don't remember what your message was, though.
Lego boobies.
And yes, that is my phone going off.
Yeah, he gets the strangest looks because his phone has when
Well, why don't I just play it for folks?
oh yeah
I think that's
and it
probably it.
really says what you think it says.
Oh, no, definitely. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, I don't know how to use my phone. Dead air. Dead air.
Dead air. Oh no, dead air. Okay, so as long as there are other things back on my magical table. Be very, very quiet.
Oh, I guess it doesn't like doing that. Well, folks, I guess I got technical functions with my phone. Not just that I can't use it or know how to use it. It's what's going on with this microphone stand?
Well, I hope that we don't have this many technical difficulties next Saturday night, because next Saturday night we will be live in front of a live audience on our first collaboration with OGPS Filming and Hauntings Live podcast, and that will be cast on Facebook. We will have the announcement. I will make a 1 or 2 minute announcement and post it on YouTube sometime next week, over the next few days.
Excellent, excellent. Yay, we're live right here. Super duper. Now, I had a question. You've talked to us about how you got the name Queen of Ooga Booga, but you haven't told us why.
Why I'm the Queen of Ooga Booga?
Yes.
It is because of my extreme interest and lifelong interest in all things supernatural, whether it's ghosts, whether it's tarot. I read the tarot, I read playing cards, I read the runes, I read the pendulum, the crystal ball, just all of it. It all interests me. And so that's why I'm the Queen of Ooga Booga. And not just divination, but I'm also interested in some of the magical, that's magic with a K, some of the magical stuff. I make my own pixie dust. The candles, the oils, I love it all. I just love it. And so that's why I'm the queen. And I think every year I learn a little bit more and a little bit more. When I first started using magic, now that was okay. I read the tarot cards, but I would always get my tarot cards or my tarot book from a regular bookstore. And so it usually the regular bookstores in the 70s and the 80s had one book and one deck of tarot cards. And so the particular book that I got was written by a gentleman called Tony Willis, and it was Magic and the Tarot. And every tarot card they talked about, he'd also talk about the principles of magic as far as a universal magician is concerned. Magic as far as how to attract things to you. It said that the magician, the magical magician, knows where to tweak the web of the universe, like tweak it over here to make something happen over here. And so at first I'd read it and go, oh no, I'm not into that stuff. But I kept going back to the book and back to the book and back to the book. So that was my first book about magic. And I have actually gone through, I think I've worn that through 4 or 5 copies of that book. And I think I may have the last one in existence on my bookshelf now. I hope not. But that's what got me started. And the things that he said were very, very, very effective. And I learned my lesson about be careful what you ask for, because he had a little bit about how to summon somebody to you. And at the time, at the time I was seeing somebody, and I made the mistake of doing that. And thank goodness what he had was it was safe and protected. So I did what he said, and before I even finished lighting the candle, there was a knock on the door, and sure enough, it was this fellow. And so I had, thank goodness I didn't have to explain to him. I had a candle and the six of cups sitting out in my bedroom, but I kind of had to explain why I had his socks on my feet.
Okay.
Oh, I just said my feet were cold.
Sure.
He bought it.
Haunting Life Podcast wants to know, what is the most spiritual place that you have gone to and why?
Oh, the desert.
I don't think there is a why available for going to a spiritual place. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. Well, this is back when I was out of the Marine Corps, but I was still in 29 Palms, California, which is on the upper Mojave Desert. So that's a high altitude desert. And it has just the most astounding energies you can imagine. And I think a lot of that has to do with the Indian activity in the area. And if you've never been out in the desert, you're really missing something. You think that the desert would be devoid of life, and that's just not true at all. It's more full of life than any place anywhere. And at night, when they say the stars are close enough that you can touch them, oh, they are. I've never seen a sky like the desert sky. And the storms are amazing. They'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And we lived right in front of a flood ditch. And that flood ditch was about 30 feet deep. And it would go from bone dry to filled to the top with roiling water. And I was young and liked to take chances at the time. And I used to like to stand next to it just to get that feeling of inertia. So that the forces of nature were just so magnified out in the desert. So That's why I would say that was the most spiritual place I've ever been.
Excellent, excellent. For me, personally, the most spiritual place I've ever been is Heistadt, Austria. It's a little tiny alpine village in a valley where
It's
people have
beautiful.
lived for over 4,500 years. In a place like that, when you go into the woods, when you go and walk around the river and the lake, you can just feel the eons of the people that have lived there. And they're still digging up all sorts of artifacts. There's a wonderful museum and all there. And it is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Did
This is a town of 700 people that has 1 million visitors a year. That's crazy.
didn't you tell me at one time that there was that's where the original Picts were found?
No, I did not.
Oh, hmm. Okay, so much for that.
Eva agrees with you about the desert being one of the most wonderful places.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful and mysterious.
I imagine the absence of people really brings out the stuff that isn't seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the weirdest things I've ever have happened to me in the desert. And I was driving home from College of the Desert. Yes, there is a little College of the Desert. That was where I started my college career. And I was driving, but I was taking the back roads. And so I'm driving down a dark desert highway when the DJ says, and I'm dating myself here, but the DJ says, and here's a new cut from the Eagles, Hotel California. And so they come on a dark desert highway. I'm just looking around. Felt like I was being punked. And the song itself, I know the song is about addictions, but to me, it's always been about like at that point in time. And one of the reasons why I took the long way home, to quote Supertramp, is just because I was in a situation that I knew I shouldn't be in. And so it was just, I needed more time and thought. And so that song came on. It's kind of like it was saying to me, what the hell are you doing there?
Well,
Pardon my French.
we have some people watching, but apparently nobody has any questions today.
Well,
Well, I'm happy that you all have such a peaceful and quiet Sunday, and that everybody's happy and doesn't need to know anything. That means everybody's life's going great.
well,
In which case, why are we here?
well, we're here to entertain you. So, speaking of entertainment,
Actually, we have a question about the Ontario and masks, wearing masks, and whether that is going to become a law where everybody has to wear masks when they're outside and mingling.
yeah, yeah, I think that's already in the books, isn't it?
No, it's only been guidelines so far.
No, it's going to be a lot because the thing with it is that it really has to be. And social distancing has to be a law because until we have a better way to treat this, it's all we got to fight it, people. We have to wear clothes in public too.
Ava has a question about her cat Patches. Any thoughts?
I had a cat named Patches one
Yeah,
time.
maybe Patches needs a fat quarter. That's a quilting joke.
I got it. Okay, so what do you want me to tell you about Patches?
She didn't say.
Uh, Usually cats named Patches are calico kitties, which make them she's.
All right.
I love it. The card that comes up for Patches is Strength. And that would tell me that Miss Patches thinks she's a lion. Does that sound about right?
She's getting very needy and is meowing all the time.
Well, she's being bossy. Because she's does she get enough food, or is she just a chow hound? And I say that because the negative aspect of her is the Seven of Pentacles. So it's kind of like she's waiting for her resources. But that middle card, that Strength card, and you and I both know that in the middle of the Strength card, there's a lion. And that's where I get that she thinks she's a bit of a lion here. And on the positive, you got the four of Wands, which Four of Wands is about community, and it's usually a card of marriage, but this, she's feeling like I think that she's trying to be the queen cat of the house, and that's why she's vocal, and that's why she's needy, because she wants to be waited on, and she wants more food.
Yay, cats.
Eva's cats have got the best personality.
Well, somebody has to keep Eva on her toes.
And they sure do.
Anyway, there's nothing to worry about.
No, it's not her being sick. It's her. It's her trying to get a higher position in the totem pole.
Welcome, number 5. If your name happens to be Johnny, yoo-hoo.
Johnny number 5. You see, and I was thinking about Chanel.
Right, yeah.
Whoops.
Oh, look, we found a card. It's on the floor. And let's see what we got to say here. Oh, there's Felix the dog wanting more attention.
Johnny number 5. The Ace of Wands comes up for you. And I think that you've got something new and exciting coming into your life, something fiery, probably having to do with business. But it's time for you to look at the opportunities that are around you, because there's something there to grab. And it's not the secretary.
It's never the secretary.
It's never. That's absolutely right. So who else would like a mini-minute reading?
Haunting Life would like to know if there is a coworker that is open to spiritual energy. Chris, I'm not quite sure what your question is there.
I think he's asking about
Trevor, I'm not quite sure what your question is there.
Is it Trevor?
It is.
Yikes. The message I get here, like the center card, is the Pope. And what that tells me is that whatever you present, you really need to present in a very conservative way. and positively aspected is a tower. And this is usually a card of the falling tower and it's usually a negative card. But in this case, I think it's saying that you can make a little bit of progress with this person, but it's got to be baby steps. You have to be careful because there's a wall here. Have to take it down carefully, brick by brick. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the last card. This person, when you look at the King of Cups, this person sees you as a loving person, and this person admires you. So this is somebody that you can strike up a friendship. Just very slowly and very carefully. And while I have OGPS on chat, could you please tell us about next week's podcast?
Next week, Saturday, July 18th.
Yes.
Haunting Live podcast will be broadcasting live from the Queen's Inn in Stratford, Ontario, and you are the special guest.
The Queen of Ogoboga.
We're going to be doing this in the Edinburgh Lounge at the Queen's Inn.
Victorian Room.
And sorry, I've been corrected, the Queen Victorian Room. And we will have a live audience there. Numbers are extremely limited, and from what I understand, is actually full. So tune in to Haunting Live podcast to see Sally and Chris talk about ghosts, especially ghosts about the Queen's Inn.
But is that on YouTube or Facebook?
That is on Facebook Live.
And so they need to go to the OGPS Filming Facebook page.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sure Chris will correct me in a minute.
Yes. And also, they will be putting a link up on my Facebook page, which is the Queen of Ogoboga Facebook page.
Of course it is.
And there are going to be door prizes. And as we've said before, we're also going to be holding a draw for a prize to one of our audience, of our computer audience, our internet audience, and for either pick up in Stratford or we will ship it to you.
And it will be shipped via Canada Post, so expect to wait. They're a tad behind, like a week and a half.
And also, remember to watch the Queen of Ogoboga so you can see not just my video on making a water pie, which I thought the water pie was very good, but the producer, he didn't like it. But to make some of this magical stuff, pixie dust. And what you see here is a lot of pixie dust. All you need for your entire house is that much. And so this is, the instructions are for making a batch this big. And so you have a lot left over for gifts for your friends. Everybody in the audience at this week's podcast will be getting a little bit of the pixie dust. And also the winner from the internet audience will also be getting some of the pixie dust. And this is Happy Home Pixie Dust. And you sprinkle in the corners of your home, north, east, south, west, in that order. And you put a little tiny bit in your kitchen, and whatever's left in your hand, you toss out the front door. And it's designed to bring blessings to everybody within the home. It's got neat stuff in it like frankincense and myrrh and lavender and sandalwood. And it's also very pretty because it's got glitter and rhinestones. And who doesn't like glitter and rhinestones?
That brings me to a point about that. Folks, this product is not safe to throw at your bride and groom. Those rhinestones hurt.
Yeah, they do, and they get stuck in your hair too.
Oh, that's the glitter, and that's banned everywhere anyhow.
But the pixies like glitter.
Ava says that she still has pixie dust from years ago. Ava, you're supposed to use it, not hold on to it.
Yeah.
It's one of the pet peeves of mine. People buy something or are given something to use, and then they just store it and store it and store it. No, use it. There's no sense in having things just to display. I'm not saying go draw on your art,
Oh,
but use things.
of course.
I had a young couple come into the store one time at the Magic Box, and they were just then started out in Wicca, and they wanted to buy all of the essential tools that they needed. And what they were looking for was a chalice, but their budget was quite limited. Well, it turns out that the young woman had her first communion glass. It's now their chalice.
Perfect. And it already has positive spiritual energy attached to it.
Yes, that's what I explained to them as well.
Now the pixie dust, as you can see, and it's over here on the edge of the shelf here. That those bottles there are pixie dust, and it comes in a number of flavors. The video that we'll put up next week has the happy home, which brings blessings to everybody. But there's also calm, and sometimes I'll wander behind my producer's chair and throw a little bit of calm behind it. It just seems to calm everything down.
Yeah, I got worked up before we go live.
No, you worked me up.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, he's laughing. And then there's Red Hot Lover.
And just to clarify, when Sally said flavors, she meant variety. These are not edible.
They're definitely not edible. You know, it's made with decorative sand. And then there's also a very special one called Ghost Begone. And Ghost Begone is the only pixie dust that doesn't have any rhinestones in it. It's red and black and has, you can tell it has rosemary, but it also has a lot of other hugely protective stuff in it and peppercorns. And it's just meant to, it's meant to get rid of unpleasant spirits. Ghost Begone.
Yeah, it's very powerful, works very well, and does not really have a very pleasant smell, which I suppose is the point.
Well, it depends. It actually depends on whether you like the smell of rosemary. Some people do like the smell of rosemary. Quite frankly, I do. I used to put 9 drops of rosemary oil in my hair conditioner. I should do that again. It's a real good. It's good for your hair. It makes your hair very shiny.
Your hair is very shiny already.
I love you.
All right, I love you too. So I want to go back to the pixie dust and mention something about it. Since this is a magical product, there is a cumulative effect when everybody starts using it. Even though it's separated from the main bag or pot or jar, it's still always connected. There's still always this thread. So when people start using pixie dust all over the place, it all gets interconnected. And that's a really, really cool thing.
Yes.
Oh, you got some more viewers here, but apparently nobody has any questions.
Okay. So I'll ask you guys a question. I was talking before about what workshops I should teach, put together 1-day workshops to teach at the spa by the track, near the tracks, the spa near the tracks. Awesome place on, Cannon Road. Okay, anyhow, it's near the tracks.
The spa near the tracks is in Stratford, Ontario at 20 Cooper Street. Their phone number is 519-272-1293.
So, everybody, what kind of workshop do you think I should teach there? Should I teach psychic development? Should I teach palm reading? Maybe reading the playing cards, or reading the runes? What does everybody think?
Apparently, everybody thinks you're the amazing Kreskin, and you can guess it.
You know, it's funny. I had somebody send me a meme on Facebook today that said, I went to visit a psychic. I knocked on the door. She yelled, "Who is it?" And so I left. And as funny as it is, I've got to say, and every psychic will say, it doesn't work like that. We don't get the world thrown at us. You know, we'd all be in the loony bin if that was the case. We get what we need to know. And that doesn't include the 10-year-old's name. You know, I have never done a public event that I haven't had a 10-year-old walk up to me and say, "If you're really psychic, you'll know my name." And they're disappointed when I say it doesn't work like that. You know, there's a lot of people that think it's like being tuned in all the time, and it's a little bit different. Like when I go into a reading, I actually go into a little bit of a trance. I had someone one time ask me if I ever closed my eyes, but that helps me to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more vocal, and it also helps me to totally forget what the reading is when it's done. Because whatever I get in a reading is for the client, not for me. And so I just tell you what I pick up. In a reading, I'll use my regular reading. With me is usually, I like to start out with the hands. I love the hands. You know, if I'm at a party or if I meet somebody, I'm always looking to see the hands, because the hands will tell me things about people that their faces won't. Anyhow, I like to start with the hands, and that gives me a sense of the person as an individual and their strengths and their challenges. And then, so that's kind of getting that bird's eye view of a person. And then I like to go to the tarot cards, because I've read the tarot cards since I've been 15 years old, which is a long time ago. And they communicate with me well. And it's a good starting point to look at where the person is, you know, in the now, and the sort of things that are under their control, the things that you can change, and what the results of any changes will be made, where the path ahead of you is leading. And if you don't like where the path is leading, then you just need to make a left turn, which is what the other side is about, what you can do to change it. And then a very important thing is the things that are beyond your control, because we all have things that we just have to accept in life. And that's what the lower right-hand corner of the spread that I do. I do a spread. It's actually one that Aleister Crowley came up with and published in his Thoth deck. And I found it to be very effective to look at people from that perspective. And of course, the tarot cards are just a tap on the shoulder. If you're in a reading with me and I'm not looking at tarot cards and I'm looking in your eye, I'm just picking up on you raw. Which a lot of what I get, I just get. I don't need, if you wanted to do a reading with nothing at all, I would do a reading with nothing at all. I prefer the trippies and the trappies. I prefer, I do prefer the palm reading. I think the palm reading is fun. I like to have the tarot cards because it gives kind of a pictorial, and people can see the metaphors and see what they're being told. Then usually I throw in a third. I'll either do a rune reading, and the rune reading, I have these little runes that my friend Maria made, and she made it out of, I believe it's out of maple. And they're just little discs like about that big, and all 24 of them will fit in pretty much well anybody's hands. And I have you hold them and then just drop them. And that's me looking at 1 year, like where you are now and where you'll be a year from now, and just the challenges and the milestones throughout the year. And if I have time, and this is a unique part of my reading, is I have a candy dish that has all kinds of different crystals in it. When I was talking earlier about the runes, I talked about kyanite. And I have a regular piece of kyanite in it, but I have this little itty bitty piece of kyanite at the bottom of a dish that keeps all the crystals clean. And in all the years I've had that dish, and I keep adding more crystals to it, of course, I've never had to clean any of the crystals. The energy's always been good. But what I have you do is I'll have you draw out the crystals one at a time, and I have you close your eyes and then put your hand out like that, and I bring the dish to you. So you don't have to worry about where the dish of crystals is. Just when it comes to your hand, you dig down and you pick out the right one you put in front of you. And that's pretty free-flowing reading. Some people, I lay the other day that picked out 3, and some will put down 10. You pick out however many you feel like. And then by the order in which you picked it and which one you picked, it's another reading. And I will tell you what each crystal means and what each crystal means in the whole of the reading. And then at the end, I say, okay, you get to pick one of the crystals. And that's a little surprise that well, now you guys know about it, but most people aren't expecting.
Thank you, Sally. If anybody would like a reading from Sally in person, you can call 519-272-1293. If you would like an online reading with Sally, send her an email at queenofoogaboga@gmail.com. That is queenofoogaboga@gmail.com. You can also visit us at our Facebook page, also Queen of Ooga Booga. It was really easy for me to get all those sites and all those names. Nobody had it. Anyhow, we're going to wrap it up now, folks. Before we go, though, Eva, I like your ideas. We are going to be talking about ghosts and mediumship and astrology, more likely Chinese astrology. Dreams, no. Karma, sure. Angels, spirit guides, yeah, no problem. I Ching, yep. Candles, auras, yep. All that is good. We're going to cover all of that. Some of these things just are not a workshop related kind of thing, but we will be covering them on the channel.
All the good Ooga Booga stuff.
Yes. Yes, all of it. And everything you've mentioned, and then some stuff that makes your hair stand up. Folks, downstairs in the living room, we have a box that has every candle known to man in it.
And as you said, we are winding it up. I hope to see all of you, and tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell strangers, tell enemies, and make them friends. Tell everybody about this YouTube channel. Share. Queen of Ooga Booga, and tune in on Saturday night at the OGPS Filming Facebook page live at 8 o'clock for our collaborative live podcast in front of an audience. And we'll see you again next week at 9 o'clock for Psychic Sundays Live with Sally Diane. I'm wishing you all good luck, good health, and have a grand week. And farewell from your queen.